St. Louis Legacy Baseball, first year starting a whole new program with all this technology, equipment, performance training all around them. Building number 1 with their performance lab. You got building number 2 over here with their pitching lab, and number 3 over there with their hitting lab. And they're building a new field, as you can see behind us, where they're going to be playing some ball and practices. It's going to be a great and interesting tour stop. We're looking forward to it. So let's head inside here and see what we got. We ready to go inside? Pretty nice setup here so far. St. Louis Legacy. Let's check out what's going on in here.
We have great organizations here, but my personal view is we needed to make sure that we were focusing on the development and showcasing the talent that I believe we have in St. Louis and seeing more of our regional players in the College World Series, playing at high level in high school, varsity baseball teams, stuff like that. And so honestly, we wanted to kind of disrupt youth baseball a little bit and get back to what I believe is more important than anything, and it is developing good human beings, people that give back to society, become good people at the end of the day, because let's be honest, the majority of them are not going to play baseball, right, later on in life.
Absolutely.
So they have to be good members of society. Respect, dignity, things like that. And then for those that make it, beautiful. Yeah. We did what we could, and that was why we did it.
Yeah, have a butt kicker mindset. What does that mean for us outside of that? Give me examples on the field. Sprinting on and off the yard. Understand? Actually, right there. What's another one? You got running out ground balls. Sprinting out a hard 90, right? Some a hard 80, some a hard 90. Breaking it down, doing what we're supposed to do. Understand at this point when we're making that, why are we doing that? Telling teams that we're going to put a lot of pressure on with how we run the bases. 4 facets of the game, right? 4 facets. Hitting, defense, pitching, base running. All right, all 4 facets. As soon as you do one, you become the other. All right, making sure of those. Number 2, what do we got? Be a great teammate, right? Be a great teammate. What's being a great teammate? Go ahead. 100%. You know, picking somebody up when they're down. What else we got? Being a great teammate. 100%. That's one of that big one that I think we need to continually grow on as young men. Being able to let your teammate help you when you're doing something wrong and don't get all mad. You got to be able to take that and be like, hey, thanks, I appreciate that.
So Craig Ringe and I, the Director of Baseball Operations, go back about 25 years, 22 years, I guess, teaching summer camps and individual instruction back when Balls and Strikes first came on the scene and was one of the first kind of programs up and coming. And we've remained friends the entire time. And last season, I was running the St. Louis Pros, and my facility the property got bought, so the facility closed. And Craig's a dear friend of mine. I said, hey, we need a good home. And
So we started talking, and he and I coached together last year with our sons, and we agree philosophically and how to do things the right way, and it was just a perfect marriage.
So as far as my goals, I mean, honestly, it goes back to what I said earlier. We just want to develop good people within the game of baseball.
Right.
Had a lot of good folks out here. We've surrounded ourselves with very, very talented people, especially in the baseball and training world. And when you start to surround yourself with people who really protect your confidence in what you're doing, you can brainstorm really well. And you can start to put something pretty special in place. The wheels got turning. I got introduced to a gentleman by the name of Craig Ringe. Craig will not talk about himself. He doesn't like to talk about himself, but Craig was an All-American at Central Missouri, drafted by the Texas Rangers, played 6 years of pro ball, 6 or 7 years of pro ball, coached at K-State, Southeast Missouri State, and Lindenwood. He was an offensive, hitting instructor, director of recruiting at those schools. And so when I started looking at, okay, well, we're going to put a high school program together, boy, he'd be a pretty good guy to get on this bus,
Right.
since he was the director of recruiting here in the Midwest for several schools, and he's pretty doggone good at baseball.
Right.
So we brought him on as our director of baseball, and I told him, your job, you're going to start STL Legacy Baseball, and we're going to do it the right way.
There
We're
you
going to
go.
develop them the right way, and he brought what he did in college with how he ran those programs, and that's what he's building here.
I think the first thing is just movement literacy, learning how to move better. If you can move better, your life is better, whether you're a 9-year-old trying to make the team, a stud high schooler like some of the guys we have in here trying to get drafted, or an 88-year-old trying to see out of the nursing home. You move better, you live better. So it's all about movement quality first. If we can make you move better first, then we worry about making you faster, stronger, more explosive, all those things. But really that's the most important thing. Availability trumps ability every day of the week. So if you're not healthy, you're not on the field, and if you're not on the field, you can't help me. So that's goal number one.
I love that. That was good stuff. I've
said that once or twice before.
Yeah, and honestly there, Nathan, I hadn't really thought about, just movement. I think that's an interesting thought
Especially
process.
for a lot of these guys, we call them baby giraffes in here. You just talked to Mike. Mike's son Brandon has grown like 11 inches in the last 14, 15 months, learning how your joints are completely different, lengths and angles and everything like that. It's going to be a challenge. It's going to be really difficult to figure out how to do anything. So just basic movements from the beginning, not trying to overload that skeleton that's going through so much, is super important for a kid like that.
I like for people, when they go to the field, they know what my club and my organization stands for, from the parents to the players to the coaches. We'll do everything with class. There'll be, no screaming at the umpires from the parents. It's important. And they know it from the very beginning. We have very transparent communication. The expectations are laid out for everybody, including head coach, assistant coach, on down to parents, and even on to the grandparents of how we behave. And we want to be the team that everybody admires about how hard we hustle, how fast we get out on the field, how fast we come back off the field, how hard we play during the game, our team's body language, intensity, how hard we play, how hard we compete. For me, it's way less about how many trophies and wins as it is, are we getting better and are we competing, and do we show up every day ready to go. As a dad with a 12-year-old and a 14-year-old, my 12 plays at 13, I want to see the program continue to evolve from where it's at right now, so that they have the right ecosystem to continue to thrive. They're baseball-first kids, like myself, and we have the training, we have the indoor space, we have the pitching, we have the diagnostics, we have everything they need to do and go as far as they want to go with baseball, and I just want to continue to cultivate that so people come in.
Amen. Better timing, though, baby. Better timing is that head. Kevin's timing now. Good, right there.
Right? So the metrics are very, very important. It gets you on the map. My opinion, though, again, you got to teach these folks how to play the game and do it successfully. So we have to bridge both worlds. So the things that we've done here, TrackMan technology in our pitching building. We actually coupled TrackMan with YackerTech and Baseball Cloud. So we have two of the most cutting-edge pieces of technology to really give us every metric or data point you could possibly get on a pitcher, all right? Someone moving. We have Synaptech, which is all of the hand-eye vision training. All that technology is also in our pitching building. Help these kids see the baseball better, do contrast sensitivity, which is important as they try to track a baseball as it goes through different backdrops, right?
Right.
We have lasers here in our performance building that allows us to do 10-yard splits and prepare these kids for when they go to showcases and get ready for things like that. In our hitting building, we've got, hit tracks. We partnered with Spinball. We have a couple of their iPitch Smart pitching machines, which honestly, I think there's only about 12 major league teams at this stage that have those. We've got 2 of them. On the outdoor field, we are in the works with Pixelot. We're going to do a 4-camera relay system that is all AI driven. So when we run our practices out there, or when we run games, or when we run showcases, you can live stream those. So take what we're doing in the 3 buildings, now go out on the field and let's see if you can actually play the game. And that's how I think we're going to be able to bridge that gap from data to implementation in the game. And if it's not being implemented in the game, we got our work cut out for us. And that's where Craig and the coaches come in, bring him into his office, sit in front of a TV and show him.
Yeah.
Here's what we did in the game and how we're not translating, or we're doing a fantastic job of translating what you're doing here in the buildings out to the game.
Again, like I said, we start pretty basic, but we start with an assessment of everybody. We actually have some pretty cool technology that actually measures joint angles, does things like that, so we can tell not just, hey, are you in the right position, but how many degrees are you off from that position? Helps us figure out if we're actually improving an athlete over time. As far as other pieces of technology that we use to test people, we use lasers anytime we time people. We use a just jump mat for vertical leap tests. We want to be able to measure down to the 10th of an inch, to the 100th of a second, to whatever, completely accurately with no lag or human error, because there's so much error. The days of kids coming in and being like, oh yeah, well my dad said I ran a 6.3 in my 60. And I said, how do you do that? And he was, basically counting Mississippis, or, the same thing as using a handheld watch. It doesn't do anything. So we get the lasers out here and we actually started delivering all of our workouts via an app as well, that actually shows, every exercise you need to do. They can track all their stuff. They can see where they've come from. They know what they did the last time. They know what we expect this time. And they can compete with one another as well, So it's a pretty awesome, thing to be able to build from the ground up. The longer we get to work with these kids, the better we feel like they're going to move, and that's the goal.
If it comes with the strength training, obviously Nathan, who I think you spoke with earlier, has a very well-defined program. He's using laser technology from reflexes and speed. They're measuring their personal bests and running speed, lifting. They're keeping track of what type of weight or dynamics they're doing, which I think is good, so the kids always have a goal to push themselves to get better on. In the pitching lab, they've got all the equipment. They got the slow motion technology.
There you
Dave,
go.
He's number one, he's just wonderful with the kids from a personality, and the kids love him. But he's got every tool and diagnostic at his disposal. And it's not just go in and throw hard. He's evaluating range of motion. He's evaluating technique, arm slot health, and then he's got all the other equipment to see where are you on a pull down, where are you on a flat ground, where do you want to be. So And then hitting wise, obviously they have hit tracks. We use some other, I guess you would call them more, at a loss. We kind of keep track of progression. So just making sure the kids would play a lot of competitive games so they're always competing to get better, not just going through the motions.
Second and third, 1 out, double squeeze. Oh, we just won.
Good job. Good job. Good job. Good job. Pick them up, boys.
So the younger levels, right? You got to make it fun. So how do we kind of implement legacy baseball? The idea, what legacy baseball stands for, slowly, right? I mean, their attention span is it's like 5 seconds, right?
Right.
So you got to slowly work this stuff in terms of what we believe and what we stand for. You know, what kind of attitude are we taking out on the field? What is our approach in the game? Are you playing the game with the right level of intensity? And then how do you handle failure?
Right.
And as these kids are growing up, they don't do that well. Yeah. And in the days like we're in today, where there's a lot of instant gratification of being on your phone and you post something and I've got 300 likes in less than 5 minutes, they don't handle that kind of adversity very well if they don't get that instant feedback. So for us, the challenge is breaking through a little bit of what's going on in society today with technology and looking at them in the eye and, do you understand what we're trying to do here?
Right.
It's big, and that's when Craig and I first started talking about us coming over to the organization. That was the pinnacle of the beginning of the conversation. If that's not there, eventually it'll fall apart. We spent an inordinate amount of time talking with the boys so that they grow not just as baseball players, but as young men. We all know a very small percentage of them will ever be on TV playing baseball. We're going to help facilitate their dreams and desires to get as far as they can. But at the end of the day, a lot of them are going to work just like you and me at a job. And so having a good attitude, approach, that intensity they have to bring to compete, and being tough, mentally, physically, emotionally. We spent a lot of time on how do we get them to the next level, which for our boys is high school.
Lifts off there. I want you to break your hand. I want you to go slow. Go late. That's why we're having trouble getting out there. Your hands are late breaking. Then go. Yeah, there you go.
I'm a firm believer you set expectations from 9U and above. Now, those expectations evolve depending on the level of baseball you're playing and what everybody's goals and intensity level is. But every year, those expectations, with proper communication and setting those expectations up front, everybody's on the same page.
We help players get ready for recruiting.
Yeah.
Manage expectation. So managing expectation, understanding their skill set and projectability and where they are, and then helping them to develop along that line so that they can absolutely play ball in college, right? But if you have someone that is really well slated to potentially go on scholarship at a D2 school, but they've been told their whole life, oh, you got to play Power 5, we're going to have a problem. And they potentially are going to miss out on an unbelievable opportunity as they get into college. And so communication with the player first. They're young men, okay? They deserve respect to have a conversation with them first. Then we bring the parents into the room, have the conversation with all of them, and then manage expectation. And Craig's personality is absolutely phenomenal for that spot because he will not cheat and cut corners. He will tell you directly to your face, this is the way it is in terms of our belief. We're not always right. No one is.
Yeah.
But this is our best shot on what we believe is right.
But we started all the way back in October. We've been doing 2 times a week strength and conditioning training. Several of my guys, it's elective. We don't force anybody to do more than they either can from a time or financial perspective. But what I love about Legacy is it's all right here at our fingertips.
Yeah.
They've got the outdoor field, the strength, the hitting coaches, the pitching coaches. It's all right here. So whatever they need or want for their son, they can get done.
Opportunity knocks.
Opportunity is there. And then we start January 1st, going twice a week, and they're still doing the strength training. Like I said, several are working with Wiggins and the guys and having a good time, getting better.
1, 2, 3.